Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever or wherever you are when you're listening to this recording, that you're remembering to take your minerals and your electrolytes and stay hydrated. And pay attention to the weather in your area because things have been really strange in the world. You know, a few days ago I talked about some strange things, and yet another one happened today. The hottest record in over 100 years in Bahrain. The hottest day they've had in over 100 years. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the weather's like that there normally. I mean, Saudi Arabia gets so hot. I mean, they have to build walls that are very, very thick. And they have these hallways, these long hallways. And then there's like a double set of doors. And then there's like this long hallway and another double set of doors. And their houses are all concrete and they're very thick walls. It has to be. Because it's so hot, you can die. I don't know why people live there. It's really weird. But I don't know if Bahrain is that hot. I'm not sure. My friends have shown me a lot of stuff about Saudi Arabia. It's so interesting. But I found out that we now cannot get a visa to visit there anymore. It's very, very rare. You can apply, and only a few get in. Usually people don't get in anymore. It's very weird. Very, very weird. So, speaking of weird, I almost don't even want to tell you guys this story if you haven't heard it. But, oh, what the hell? Share the pain. Too short in the road. So there's this really weird story, and I don't know what happened to this woman's womb, but she didn't have one. And I don't know if she was she born without one? Did she have cancer? Did she have a hysterectomy and change her mind? I don't know. All I know is this is what I read, like a sentence or two of this story, and I was just like, creeped me out so much. I just can't even. So I guess a person died and was a donor of her parts. And this woman had a womb transplant. And she just gave birth to a baby today from this formerly dead womb. I don't know. It is so freaky. This is like freaky science fiction type of news, but it's actually true. It's nonfiction. I mean, this is the first time this has ever happened in the whole wide world. It might have been the world's first womb transplant, actually. It's creepy, but I mean, it took them that long to to think that maybe women need things like ovaries and wombs. You know, it's not just men that need like kidneys and hearts. You know, it's like kind of weird now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to think too deep on it. Oh God, there's like so many other things that I don't want to even think about now. It's in my mind. But I mean, I'm happy for her, I guess. You know, she has the baby she always wanted. I don't know, like the idea of having somebody else's organ in my body freaks me out. I mean, Virgo, but I mean, if I needed a new heart, I had a new heart transplant, I would probably want to go through with it. But a womb transplant, that just seems like that's a whole nother level of weird. I don't know. How does it make you guys feel? I want you to send me your comments or tweet me at mermaidgirl888 or, you know, send me an email about it, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. It is just bizarre, right? I don't know, guys. I do feel like there's been a lot of plasma waves, a lot of energy hitting us today. The Ascension Symptom Scale from 1 to 100 is 99. So we're right at the very top there. A couple hours ago, I started to feel very sleepy. It's nighttime, so I mean, you know, I just recorded 40 minutes, and then I realized I'm going off on too many tangents, so I'm re-recording it now. But I don't know. I've been feeling in the past few hours, and I bet if I check the astrology, it'll probably back me up that something is in opposition or square to one of my signs in my chart or something. Or maybe it's something we're all going through. So if you guys are hearing this and you're going through it, you're going to know it's also an ascension symptom, not just you. But I feel very melancholy today. What really triggered it, though, was I watched an episode of Afterlife with Ricky Gervais about a man whose wife died from cancer, and it was a slower moving cancer, so she made all these videos for him, you know, reminding him of where things are kept in the house and what time the dog eats and what kind of food the dog eats. But also just, she tells him things like, you know, you are such a lovely man and I really love you and I'm grateful for every second we had together. And, you know, she's always like saying encouraging and beautiful, very sweet things to him. But he was married. He said something he said in this show, this episode in particular. He said, you know, I was married for 23 years and I loved every second of my life during that time. And he says, Lisa was a light of my life. And now that she's gone, she's taken that light with her. And I don't see any point in moving in, you know, continuing on. And I relate to that. I really relate to that. Even though obviously my situation was different. My husband forced me to divorce him, and it was a very nasty divorce for 18 months. It was very horrible. And then when it was over, 9 months later, he died. And even though I was divorced, I feel like I was widowed. Because in my heart, I never wanted to not be married to him. So there was like this deep love there, you know. So I've been feeling, you know, like sad and angry about it pretty much for the past, 11 years. You know, since the divorce part started, and then he died in 2010. So like he died 9 years ago. So it's kind of that kind of weighty energy, that feeling, that heaviness, that melancholy of like, man, you know, that's something that kind of really screwed up my life. It really changed my mental patterns, how I react to things, how I now shun most things. And plus the conditions of the money that I use to survive on right now is one of the conditions is I can't marry anybody until my children are 18 or I'll lose the money. So I chose to remain single and keep the free money, which is only like enough money to live in a foreign country or homeless in a car in California and barely make it still, because we did that for a while. Or we also lived in a house with 10 other people. One bathroom. Super not fun. But we, we had, I don't know. It's like, it was choices. Everyone makes choices. I could have chose to make $100,000 a year and would have been a CEO of some corporation by now. But I never would have gotten to see my kids. So I chose to raise my own kids and travel around the world and keep them out of school. So they're not going to be programmed by the man. I know what you're thinking. You think I'm sitting here wearing tie-dye and in like, hippie hair, but no, I'm not. Just call me Rainbow. It's how I feel. I know, like I'm like a secret. I'm like a closet hippie. I'm also a closet gay man. Nobody knows. Don't tell anybody. I love men too much. I know there's a gay man inside me. But there's this generalized melancholy feeling that just started coming over me in the last hour, and I'm gonna actually ask my higher self, my higher guidance, actually. Yeah, he says it's over the whole. It's the whole. Is it being put on us? Is it being lifted up from us? Oh, okay. It's being lifted up from us. It's not from the outside in. It's from the inside out. It's good to know that. All right, he says could pass in about 4 hours. By the time you hear this recording, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that sad night. It's over now. Tequila. So, oh no, guys. There's, it's cool though that like things that have generally, for most of my adult life, have made me angry. Now I'm starting to see good in those things, which is really cool. Like, so I've been noticing that there's been different things, like the memory of my stepmom, a happy, fun memory that I had of her the other day that came up, or yesterday that came up. I was like, oh, wow. I actually treasure that. That's nice. That's actually one good, happy memory I had with her. And I've remembered a couple others. There's one that she was helping me buy a dress for the prom when I was in high school. And she was actually being very nice, and she was actually not giving her opinion and not forcing her way on me and trying to get me to wear what she thought I should wear. She actually let me pick out my own dress. And it was the first time since I was 8, and here I was like 16 or 17, and I'm able to pick out my own dress finally. And I found a dress, and she found some white satin shoes. She said, well, let's have them dye the shoes the same color as your dress so it matches. And I was happy just wearing white shoes that don't match, but I thought that was very sweet. So I'm like, all right. It's like, yeah, it's like $2. I don't care. Yeah, they'll dye it. It's just easy. I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could even do that, And we had gotten the dress, and we were going to go get the shoes dyed, or we had just done, I think we had just gotten everything done, dropped off and whatever. And we were running through the rain back to the car, and we started laughing so hard because we're trying not to get rained on. And it was like a genuine moment of actual mirth and happiness without any tension between us. And that was a cool memory I had today. So it's not just the melancholy. It's also happy memories that were buried deep down. It's important to recall not just what you deemed to be bad, but what also you could deem to be good. memories that made you feel happy are coming up too. We have to let them all go. We could always recall them if we need to, but we don't need to hold on to the influence of that emotion anymore because it's in the past. And that anchors us to the 3D because most of our memories happen in the 3D. So we need to clean out the mental body, the emotional body, the body, the aura, the chakras. And maybe when you're brushing your teeth, you could just imagine your aura is being cleansed at the same time. I don't know. My friend was severely dehydrated today. He is one of my listener supporters, and he told me he had really bad heat exhaustion because it's really hot in Texas. It's always hot in Texas in the summer, but it's hot. So just friendly reminder, guys, take your electrolytes and get enough rest. The energy has been so heavy. A lot of people are sleeping a lot more. If you were normally sleeping 5 or 6 hours, you'll probably be sleeping 8 to 10. Or it might affect you the opposite. I mean, my God, everyone's different. But there was some really strange but good news, I guess. Good news for everybody except the one person it's about. It's so weird. So, yeah, President Trump made the decision when he first got into office to communicate with the American people via Twitter. And now that he's started to block people who follow him because he doesn't like what they say about him, I wonder if you didn't block me. I'm going to try to I'm going to try to tweet him again and see if he blocked me yet. That was really mean last week, and I shouldn't be mean, but it was just, I was so angry. He's a narcissist. He always takes stuff and twists it around so it's good inside his own head. You know, I tried one time to get inside his head. Oh, no, it was actually my son. I think I tried it after him. I felt the same thing. Yeah, I did. I'm like, I'm going to try that, see if it works for me. Inside his head, this is literally, it's like elevator music. That's all he hears all day long. It's just elevator music. Really happy, snappy, positive, upbeat, vibey music. That's all he hears inside his head. He doesn't have a way to critically think about anything. Freaking weird, right? It's like you could get into anyone's head or like knock on the door at least and say, hey, can I come in and have a chat with you for a minute? I want to talk to you about some stuff. It's a psychic technique, and most people will either say, hell no, get the hell out of my head, or they'll go, okay, yeah, you can stay here for a couple minutes, have a conversation. You know, they'll ask or answer a couple questions, and then that's it. You could try to knock on Donald Trump's head, you're just hearing do 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 do. I swear it was just like that. He's just humming, or he's hearing music in his head. There's nothing else, not even words to it. But this 29-page report was filed because by one of the, I don't know which district court filed it. Somebody filed it. And anyway, he has broken one of the articles of the Constitution. I don't think it's an amendment. I can't remember. I think it's one of the original articles. The president has to listen to the people, and now he's blocked the American people. So now he can go to jail for that, I guess. So I don't know. All the other crap he's done, way, 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 way worse. Visiting Mr. Epstein, for example, where we're not going to get into that one. All the stuff he's done, it would make me just so gleefully happy if that's the one that stuck and that's the one that got him into jail. went out of the White House. Weird stories today. Really weird stories. It's been a bizarre day. I looked out the window, saw in the clouds a very, very high vibrational purple energy, but also a very electric ultraviolet, like a hot pink, as well as a gold. The gold is here to raise our vibration, as is the purple, but the purple opens us more to spirituality, whereas the golden is just to raise our vibration, I think, more physically. And the pink, I am getting the energy on that one. It's to be like a soothing balm for our hearts as we remember the melancholy moments from the things we wanted and never got, or the things that we got and didn't deserve. All the times we lost in life and felt ashamed, and all the times we won in life and felt guilty. And all the times we've missed home because this world has been too hard. And all the times that we've missed our mothers after she died, or whoever it is in your life that died, like that deep, deep, achy, suffering pain. Such a horrible feeling. So I feel like that pink, that hot pink in the sky, that's an energy that's here to help us kind of soothe our hearts, not to cover it up or get rid of it, but just to soothe us as we release and let it go. We have to let it go ourselves, though. Remember, imagine your emotional body in front of you, and it has holes in its feet. You just let it all drain out, and then fill it with white light, and make it clear, clarify your mind, clarify your emotional body the same way, and then your body, physical body, as well as your chakras and your aura. You just gotta keep doing it. We gotta just keep doing it. Keep sanitizing. Keep cleaning. Here we have to do windows. Maybe in the fifth dimension, only windows of the soul. I shouldn't say here. We actually are in the fifth dimension. So the third dimension, you do the windows. In the fifth dimension, well, we probably still have to wash our windows, but got visited by the pigeons today. They watched me wash dishes. They were fascinated by it. They kept opening their mouths like they're talking the way that I do to them, but they can't make any sound when they do it. So I think they're trying to talk to me. So I thought maybe they wanted water, so I put a little cap from a water bottle, filled it with water, cleaned it, and then filled it with water, put it near them, and they got so insulted they flew away. They're like, I'm not going to drink whatever the hell it is you just gave me. If a pigeon can give you a dirty look, man, they did. They did. And a minute or two later, they forgave me, and then they for offering them water from a faucet. I mean, they have a river like a block away. They could just go drink right out of the river, and I'm sure that's what they do, but I'm like, I'm just trying to make your life easier. I feed you, and I could give you water too. And they didn't want it. They were so mad. They were really insulted. I don't know what the deal was there, but maybe they see an energy in the water that I don't. Maybe they're just super judgy because they're pigeons. So I fed them, and while I was feeding them, I got a little bit too close to Fred, and he freaks out. If I get a little too close to Ethel, she just backs up. She's very sweet and gentle with me, but Fred will slap me pretty hard with his wing. It doesn't hurt at all. It's super soft and super adorable. And his wing is so soft, and I want to pet him all the time, but it freaks him out, so I don't do it anymore. But instead of feeling like I'm attacked by him, I made a decision today to call it a high five. So I put my hand up to high five my pigeon friend, and he slapped my hand. I'm all right, thanks, Fred. And then he did it another 2 times. But he doesn't move. If he was like actually like afraid of me, if he's actually scared, he would just move away. He knows how to get away from me. You know, he's like out on a ledge. He knows how to fly away. You know, but he wants to be near me. He just doesn't want me to be near him. But the other day I put my head up against the window. I sat on a chair and put my head up against the window. And I didn't open the window. I just kept it shut. And he came walking over. And he looked into the window. And I put my head really close. And then I put my forehead on the window. And his forehead was like, I don't know, half a centimeter from the window he moved his head into. And then he stared directly into my eyes. It was such a crazy, beautiful moment. It was so strange. I had a moment with the pigeon. It was so weird. And pigeons, just like snakes, they don't look directly ahead. Usually they look to the side. They'll look at you, they'll give you the side eye, you know. They never look at you with both eyes. And he looked at me with both of his eyes. I was like, oh, damn, that's so weird. And Ethel winked at me today. That was weird. She gave me such a, like, she kind of crinkled her eye a little bit like she loves me. And then she winked at me. And I was like, whoa. That was really strange. And she has big brown eyes. And she looks like a human trapped in a pigeon body. Her eyes look like a human's eyes. Like just brown eyes with whites around the edges. Like a human's eyes. It's kind of freaky. Someday I'll learn that these are actually aliens that were able to transform and shape-shift into a pigeon form in order to study humans. It's so weird. Anyway, we are 99 at the Ascension Symptom Scale, and that's the tiredness you feel, the melancholy. It's like we're being... You know how if you have like a bunch of dirt and you put it over a sieve and then you put water and you shake it to get all the dust off and then the dirt off, and then what's left is just a pile of rocks that are shiny and clean looking. That's how I kind of feel what's happening to us right now. It's almost like we're being shaken and all the dust is leaving. All the dross and the yuck, and what's going to be remaining is this shininess. I won't say shiny rocks, but, you know, I just feel like that's what's happening to us. But we're being shaken upside down. Like it's not falling down. It's like coming up and moving up out of our crown chakra. It's like the energy that I'm feeling from it. It's cool. You know, hey, we are getting better, you know. So lesson 31 in A Course in Miracles today is I am not the victim of the world I see. This kind of matches the whole getting rid of our melancholy and our deep soul sorrows energy, isn't it? I am not the victim of the world I see. No, indeed you are not. You're a creator. You're a co-creator with it. Any bad stuff we went through, any melancholy we felt, we chose it. Before we got here, we chose it. And after we got here, we still chose it again. We had free will. We could have chosen to go against it, but we chose it. We chose to go through the hard things. Makes us better people overall. But, you know, you chose it. Yeah. All right, let me see here. I'm going to read to you guys. The Schumann resonance was pretty good today. It's more exciting than last week. All right, they started with the evening report at 1700. They write, the significant activity of today has just begun. From 10 UTC, there have been movements out on 20 hertz, while from 16 UTC, the amplitude has increased to 40 hertz, with the maximum peak at 44 hertz. At 16:20, woo, that's actually 4:20, guys. Yeah. It seems that the activity is continuing. Then at 22 UTC time, they write another late evening report. And they write, as expected, the activity continued until 21 UTC, when apparently the amplitude values returned to normal. A significant peak occurred at 17:30 UTC and reached 53 hertz. So that's pretty cool. We're at 53. That is cool. All right, so I don't know, guys. Oh no! I just deleted something I did not want to delete. Dagnabbit. I'll get it back. Well, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we are going to go on our tarot journey where we're learning how to read the cards from looking at what the cards actually mean from the original people who put together the tarot cards. I know this because I took lessons with not Course in Miracles, duh, I just said that. With a course in Builders of the Atom, BOTA.org, if you are interested in that. The lessons are about, $15 a month or something, and they mail them to you. Although they might do it online. That'd be nice if they did online. But you color your own cards and you learn and you study every part of the card. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. So I'm going to go over what I learned from the symbology on the card, not just what the card traditionally means. I'm not going to give you just the generalized pat answer. So in the later cards, I didn't study them as much, so I'm going to have to rely heavily on intuition and a lot more research. But up until the Hierophant card, I've studied all those in extreme detail. So we're going to take a quick break, go make some popcorn, grab your Ben & Jerry's and a spoon, or your cucumber salad. I don't know what you people eat during my show. Are you even eating during my show? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't encourage that. But go ahead and go do what it is you do, and I'll be right back. And we're going to start with the tarot card Major Arcana, the Emperor. Out right after this. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. right, guys, we are here for Tarot Tuesday. Don't know what you guys did during the break, but my teaspoon that I used to stir my tea was missing. It was here, and then it wasn't here. I asked my dragon spirits that are always hanging out with me, and they said, oh yeah, we hid it from you. Like, can you guys give it back? I'm like looking and looking for like 20 minutes. And all of a sudden it was like literally resting on top of my tarot cards, which I would never do. I would never put it there. All right, guys, so funny because they know I'm about to do a show on the tarot. I've had a lot of activity in my room of little tiny fae folk and, you know, the wee ones, but also angels. And the Arcturians drop by every now and again. It's been pretty cool, very active. Even when you're alone, you are never, ever alone. It's like so good. This jasmine tea, I bought it a while ago. I finally got into drinking it again. I made rice for my son and realized I could have made him jasmine rice. If you guys don't know how to make it, you just literally, instead of putting water in the rice, you make cups of jasmine tea and then put that in the rice. And it gives it that beautiful jasmine rice flavor that you get sometimes in Chinese restaurants, sometimes in Indian restaurants too. All right, we are going to start tonight with the Emperor. The Empress card was what we ended on last week. I'm going to try to give you the explanations of what I learned from Paul Foster Case. And so when I talk about the deck, I'm going to be using his deck that he had commissioned an artist to draw based on his interpretations of how the thing should be. Sometimes it deviated from the very original deck, but most times what he found was the decks available in the world when he was in it. Basically, he just was upset. He just was like, hey, this kind of, it's like the meanings were conflictual, like the dog biting the heel of the fool. Why? God doesn't bite you. God is going along with you, So he did change stuff, but the Emperor card is a lot different than, than the Emperor card you'll see in other places. So, wanted to tell you when he lived. I'm looking this up right now. His birthday was October 3rd, 1884. And he lived through March 2nd, 1954. Yeah, so he died in 1954, a long, long time ago. I was asking God if I could channel him, and God said, no, he's been reincarnated. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it makes sense. God, it's been almost 70 years, 60 years since his death. So yeah, obviously he's reincarnated. I don't want to bother him now while he's alive. He's probably helping us ascend right now in another body somewhere. I'm sure of it. Okay. So in the normal Emperor card that you're going to find, like for example in the Rider-Waite deck, I think the sky in the background is yellow still. No, it shouldn't be yellow because the Emperor is in this world. He's in this world. He knows he's in this world. He knows he owns this world. He rules this world with the help of his Empress. He is a man through and through when you think of Mars and Venus. He is Mars. Whereas the Empress is related to Venus, goddess of love. The Emperor is related to Mars, god of war. So in a traditional deck, his feet are straight ahead. He's sitting on a throne, and it's a stone throne. Stone throne. Oh, that's like a double entendre in a really weird way. Don't cast stones, stone throne. How to say it? His seat is made of concrete. No, wait. How am I going to say this without rhyming, guys? I don't know how to do it. Yeah, all right. Basically, he's seen on a throne similar to what the high priestess sits on. And it shouldn't be that way because he's not the high priestess. He's a different person altogether. So in Paul Foster Case's deck, this is one of the cards that varies greatly. So you see that in the Builders of the Addendum, the Bota deck, he is looking to the left. That's very interesting because now the magician is concentrating, and I think he's looking down. The Fool is looking to the left. So there's a clue. The High Priestess and the Empress are looking right at you, straight ahead. But when you look at the Emperor card, he's looking to the left. That means the past. He is surveying all that he owns, everything he has had in his life, everything he has gained as a warrior on Earth, using his Martian power, basically, not Martian like from the planet Mars, but the energy of Mars, the energy of that planet. It is a planet of war, and it's the red planet. It's known as being the red planet. So in the background of the Emperor, you see that he has red mountains, dark, bright red mountains, not slightly pinkish reddish, no, heavy primary color red mountains. And on his head is a crown that looks like it's made of bronze with also red, mimicking the peaks of the mountains behind him. There's two peaks behind him, and there's two separate sections in his hat. So it's kind of like, So his card in a reading would mean, those parts of it will mean that he is... So if you get this card and it represents the person you're asking about, you could say, oh, I see you are an accomplished person because, you're able to sit back sometimes and really look at all that you've accomplished. And maybe this person doesn't feel worthy, or they don't feel like they're clear on what they've accomplished. And so maybe your job as a spiritual counselor would be to help them see that they actually have accomplished a lot more than they're giving themselves credit for. So it could go either way. So he holds the world in his hand, a globe that's very similar to what's on the scepter in the Empress. And if you notice, he is also looking at the Empress when you line the cards up. He's watching over his wife and his unborn child. And he's doing it with style and grace. And while she has stopped, she has her foot firmly planted on her own subconscious mind, and she is in control of her creative power. He's got the same stream that runs through next to the Empress where she has stopped the stream. That stream runs behind the Emperor. He's in control as well. His subconscious mind is behind him, and he's in the forefront because he has a grand and keen awareness of who he is. So if you get this reading for one of your clients, if you decide to read tarot in the future, you're going to understand that this represents a person who has at least one, if not both feet, firmly planted in reality. Good luck with that in the fifth dimension. But they've got a good handle on it. And so on his shoulder pad, the Emperor has a ram, further signifying Mars, action, power, master of his domain. Not in a Seinfeld way, but in a serious way, because he's a serious kind of guy. Unlike me, your resident Heyoka shaman. So, all right, here we go. His throne that he sits on in the Paul Foster Case deck is the cube of space. It's literally a cube. It's like the Kaaba that the Muslims go to every year for pilgrimage. I know that sounds weird. Why would they go to a big cubic rock in the middle of nowhere? It was discovered in the desert. And I know this stuff is all tied together. When I put this together, it blew my mind. So I want to say it was Jacob was in the desert. There's Abraham. Yeah, it was Abraham and his sons. And I think it was his first son, Jacob. They went just walking, just father and son out for the day, kicking it, looking around, see what they could see in their world. It's like a road trip, but without cars. Long time ago, cars weren't invented yet. And they were just walking around, and they found this building, and they're like, whoa, cool. No one lives here. It's like in the middle of the desert. What the heck? Where is this from? And an angel came to them, appeared before them, and said, well, this was the first house ever built on earth to worship God. But it was in ruins, so they set it upon themselves. They took it as their own task to rebuild it because they felt like this is very special. And this is where Mecca is in Saudi Arabia right now. It's been built, and now it's being kept up for the past couple thousand years. And when you see it on in images or movies or documentaries, you'll see it as it looks like it's black, like the whole thing is black, but it's not. That's a cloth that these women weave every single year, and they weave with golden thread made from gold the verses of the Quran. And that's the writing you see in Arabic. It's verses from the Holy Book, and it's on the black cloth. And that's put over to protect the Kaaba Allah, the house of God. That's what it means. Kaaba Allah, house of God. And then if you put it together, you have Kabbalah, book of life. But what's the tarot? It's also the book of life. See, it's all related. It's all related. When I first discovered that, I was like, wait a minute, Kaaba, Allah, Kabbalah. I mean, that's like saying mi hijo, mijo, or can't. It's a contraction. When I noticed that about the language, I was like, oh wow. See, that ties a lot of things together for me, at least. In the Kabbalah, in the tarot, there's a lot of Hebrew letters. And then we have this man sitting on a cube that looks just like the first house ever to worship God. He's master of his own domain, but in his hand he holds a scepter that's yellow. That's a symbol of the golden light that comes from God. He holds that in his right hand. That's what he puts out into the world. And it's a 0, an O on top of a T, the last two letters of tarot. I forgot what that meant, but it does mean something. And his garments are blue, royal blue. He doesn't forget that he's royalty. He knows who he is. And he has 1 foot on the grass, 1 foot in that creative process where he's involved with his empress, the wife, to the creative nature of all of us. So he's sitting on the throne, and it's a cube of space, but if you notice all the points of the cube, and then you put if you imagine there's a center to it, and all of those outer points connect to that, it's it becomes clear when you study this stuff that there are 32 paths inside the cube of space. These are also known as the 32 paths of wisdom. Most Masons who reach the top become 32nd degree Masons. It's all related. Masons study this stuff that I'm telling you. I didn't learn it from them, although I could easily have access to the information. That's not where I've gotten it. All right, so you get this in a card. This card in a reading, you get a very wise man. He has a beard, but the beard is white. But he's sitting on a gray cube, and his legs are covered in armor that's gray. He's sitting upon a seat of wisdom. And his breastplate is filled with that same color gray, wisdom. On the cube, there's also the ram, which is further energy of the Mars. So this is someone who's passionate, and they are in solid control of their will. They're able and have already created many things. And that's the Emperor card. Now we're going to go to the Hierophant. The Hierophant sits on a throne, and he wears a red robe, the same color as the energy of the Mars from the Emperor. Now he also has a scepter in his hand, but with his right hand, he's making the as above, so below, as below, so above gesture. He has two servants next to him. They have their heads shaved in the way that the San Franciscan sacerdotes. So I like how I go into Spanglish out of nowhere. The Franciscan monks from St. Francis of Assisi had them shave their heads. So the top of their heads were showing to God, so more wisdom could come in from God. Also, it was a symbol of their renunciating all the material goods of the world for want of the spiritual things. Now, there's a lot of symbology in the robe of the Hierophant. If you look in this card from the Paul Foster Case deck, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. There's a lot of symbols. There's keys. The men, one of the men have a green shirt symbolizing the life and creativity of the Empress. And on his shirt are roses, red roses, which symbolize desire. And he has a yoke around his neck that's yellow, because he is yoked to the one will, to the prime creator, to God. Now, the man to the right is dressed in the same way, except instead of roses, he has lilies. So, knowledge and desire, lily is the symbol of knowledge. And he wants knowledge, and he's got the yoke of God around him, and he has his hands together in prayer and supplication. They're kneeling down. They are in supplication. They're submissive to the one will, because they want the one will to work through them. Now, the one who has roses on his shirt, he's reaching for the keys of knowledge. There's these two keys. There's the keys of knowledge. He's reaching for them because that's his desire, is to have more knowledge, more wisdom. But he's reaching and he's touching the wisdom key, which is gray. Who is the Hierophant? He is your higher self. His hat is built like an ancient temple, and it has 3 layers to it, and then he has like a scarf coming down, and all of that is yellow. And the scepter in his hand, again, it's yellow. And when you connect the dots in the shape of the scepter, there's a pyramid there. So this has ties to ancient Egypt. There is a Taurus symbol on both sides of his head, in the background of his throne. And he sits upon a gray throne, and he sits between two pillars. We can't tell if it's Joachim and Boaz because it's just a part of the pillars. But we're assuming that the higher self is attached to the high priestess. So those are the symbols in this card, right? So when you look at this, you could tell quite a bit. So if you get this in a reading for somebody, you could say, well, it looks like you're able to walk the middle path. You've connected to your higher self. You're seeking spiritually, and yet you're still wanting materially. It looks like you're either in a balanced situation or you're striving for balance. As in relationship to who you are and reconciling your higher self, where you came from heaven. And the Hierophant it's about will and desire and knowledge, but it's also taking the energy from your higher self and channeling it through you to have a greater power. Remember, as above, so below. As below, so above. Right? Maybe that's the other way around. But so that's how I interpret the Hierophant anyway. I mean, there's so many meanings to all these things. There's so much. So, all right. The next card, it's the Lovers. Of course, they're naked. They're naked. You could consider these people to be Adam and Eve. There is the background, the sky. Oh, and the background of the Hierophant, by the way, is gray, because he's full wisdom. The background sky of the Lover's card is orange. So it's a mix of desire and the energy of God, all of creation, and that beauty and harmony and love. And it's mixed together. They're standing on a fertile ground. It's very green. It's filled with creation. They're naked, but they're not naked in a shamed way. They are naked in an innocent way. They're very happy, and they have their arms outstretched and their palms turned upward. They are in a full and complete energy of trust. They're trusting the universe to guide them where they be. They trust in love. It's a perfect, harmonious love. Now I'm looking, of course, at the Paul Foster case deck. Now, there's an angel above them. I don't know which angel this is. I think it might be Archangel Michael. I would have to double check this, but I think it is Archangel Michael. He has red wings. Again, mimicking the energy of Mars, passion, fire, desire. Energy of creation. Like the creative force, the green is just creation, but that red is what gives you the action. That is the secret into the law of attraction. I mean, you could do mantras all day long about winning the lottery, but unless you buy a ticket, you're not going to win. You got to take that extra action step. Going down to the 7-Eleven and buying a couple tickets, if that's what your desire is, if that's maybe what you think you're going to do to get money. Same thing, like you can't open a restaurant and do all the work of making it pretty inside and cooking all the great food, and you can't complain when no one shows up when you haven't done the advertising, right? You have to do that extra step. Whoops, I just flung my whole thing across my bed. Okay, so there's this whole action step that you need. That desire, that passion, that fire. So the red is it's like lighting a fire under your ass, basically. So with the Lover's card, there's this the angels coming up out of the cloud Between them, there's a mountain that's very much like it's purple, which is spirituality, but it's like an erection. It's like another kind of a phallic symbol, a little bit. It's not really obvious, but it's obvious enough. Now, behind the female, behind Eve, what we have is a tree that's sprouting apples. And there's a serpent that's winding itself around the tree, a green serpent, energy of creation again. And it's looking at Eve. It's looking at her right shoulder, and she's looking up at the angel. Let's see, there's 5 apples. It seems like there should have been 6 apples. Maybe the snake ate one of them. The Lover's card is number 6 in the major arcana. So anyway, the apples are knowledge. They symbolize knowledge. And the snake is risen all the way up in the tree, and she's looking up to the heavens. So she is a realized master of her world. She is complete and naked before God. She's not ashamed of anything she is. She's healed herself completely. The energy of the snake rising all the way up, that's Kundalini risen. She is an awakened, enlightened being. The same is with Adam over here. But he's looking to her, and she's looking up. Behind him, you'll see a whole bunch of, it's like a tree, but it looks like they're flames. It's a tree that's on fire. It's a controlled fire, though. Let's see, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What is 12? That might mean chakras. Oh, yeah, of course. In Eve, the 5 is the 5 senses. And in Adam, the 12 fires are the 12 chakras. And indeed, several of them are above his head. So he's stuck in his body, and he's got black hair because that's a symbol of ignorance. And I'm not saying people with black hair are ignorant, because that's not at all what it means. It's just a symbol. And her hair is blonde because she's been touched by that golden white light energy of God. That's why her Kundalini has risen. She has eaten from the tree of knowledge. She has seen the light. It's lightened up her hair, and she's gone up. Her Kundalini has risen. She sees the things that Adam doesn't see. So Adam Kadmon, this isn't the original Adam, this is the second Adam. This is symbolized the one that's been tinkered with DNA-wise by the aliens, but we're not going to go into that right now. That's not what the card's about. So he's looking directly at her. She's looking directly up. He is looking at her to guide him spiritually with her risen Kundalini and the fruit of her wisdom. She has full love of God. He has full love of her. And the angel has full love for them. And everything in this world is harmonious and beautiful. And they are the lovers. Now, when you get the Lover's card in your reading, it could be 2 different things that it could be several different things. You desire a love relationship is coming your way, or you're struggling with a love relationship. Depends on what kind of reading it is and what position the card is in the reading, with all the cards, of course. So it just gives you a little bit more of a deeper esoteric meaning is kind of my goal here. All right, so we've gone through the Emperor, the Hierophant, card 6, the Lovers. Now we go to, I love this one. I love it so much. Card 7 is the Chariot. Oh, I love this card. All right, this is an amazing card. The Paul Foster Case deck. If you look up, it's esotericmeanings.com. They have an introduction to the BOTA tarot deck. I highly recommend you go look at these cards. They're so healing. They're very healing. And the Chariot card is one of my most favorite cards. So, all right. Here we go with this one. This is a man fully realized. He has blonde hair, which again, it's not meaning that all blondes are, and you know what I mean? It's just a symbol. So don't get upset about the, color. In fact, when you color the skin of all the people in the cards, when you color your own deck, Paul Foster Case said it is absolutely necessary to use, these are the colors you have to use for the skin in equal amounts: black, brown, red, yellow, white. And when you mix them all together, it's a perfect skin tone. But it's the inclusion of all humans on the planet. Because we're all one. We're just the human race, not many races. He had a couple race things, and that my dear friend worked in the Builders of the Additive office, and we had a long discussion about it. I'm like, well, I kind of took it with a grain of salt, and I kind of glossed over it, and I don't take those weird ideas. And he said, well, screw it. I am getting rid of them. Then we came across another one in the lessons where he said about gay people have a mental illness, because he's going along with, well, what the knowledge was in the 1880s and the 1900s, early 1900s. So basically, we had that removed as well. Well, my friend had it removed. And we'd had a long discussion about it first, though. My husband and I introduced him to Builders of the Additive, and he's run with it, and he's like a spiritual master with these cards now. Like with all of the knowledge. It's like this ongoing, you could study this stuff for a lifetime and still not understand it all. But okay, so this is a self-realized master. He is inside a chariot. He is the driving force. He can travel with the full knowledge of his higher self inside him. And we know that because he's surrounded by a chariot that's gray. And you don't really see wheels on the chariot. Oh, no, actually you do. They're golden. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you do. Yeah, okay. There are wheels there. And when there's sphinxes, a black sphinx and a white sphinx. One stands for ignorance, one stands for knowledge, and in the middle is the gray chariot. And when the sphinxes stand up, then the chariot can go according to this man's will. His breastplate is golden because he has the light of God shining through him. On his shoulders now, he's got a symbol, it looks like the moon, and then there's a blue thing. It looks like a face, almost looks like a face of a moon, but so it's blue and white shoulder pads. So the subconscious is on his shoulders. He's aware of what's in his subconscious mind. He's all these symbols around his skirt that he wears. And in the background, there are white castles with red rooftops. It's because the Mars energy has been harnessed and utilized to create something good. He created a whole town, a whole village behind him. He created his houses where he lives. He used the white light of God, the purity and the innocence, but he used the forceful Mars nature to get it done. Above his head is a canopy of stars made from cloth. It's blue, subconscious mind. And he's got the stars in there. On top of his head, he wears a crown with, it looks like a laurel wreath inside the crown, a living plant. And he has stars all around. I could see 3 stars, pentagrams that would be on the symbol of the pentacles. And again, the wealth, the money. He is master of his world, but he lives mentally in a higher dimension because the sky is yellow, just like the Fool. He looks straight ahead, not to the future or the past, but straight ahead. In the background, there are cypress trees. I see 6 cypress trees. And that's related to the Empress, so that's creation as well. And between the creation of the Empress and the creation of the Emperor in the background, you'll see a stone wall of wisdom. It's when the Emperor and the Empress have wisdom between them. That's when they can go places in the chariot. If that makes sense. Even though it's a chariot, he has 4 pillars, 2 behind him and 2 to the side, just to his back, at his side. He too holds a scepter in his right hand. He's using it to master where he goes. He is in charge of where he goes with this rod. Like it's like a pointing stick. He points to where he wants to go. So the Chariot card is a super fascinating card. As I'm staring at it, I'm getting the information. There's a little white shield on the front, and there is a lingam and yoni. It's a sexual symbol, but it doesn't look sexual. But when you know what it means, it's like, oh. It's not only harnessing the power of sexuality to create something, versus just having a bunch of sex and going to sleep. You're harnessing that, using it to go where you want to go with life. Because it's the same energy with which you make love and have an orgasm is the same energy with which you create. So if you could harness it and raise your kundalini up, you're going to create everything in the world you need and want. You're going to go where you need to be. So this also is a symbol of a 0 with a 1 in it. 0 is the no thing, nothing, or the no thing, which is God. The Fool is in God's realm. And then the Magician comes down and he is number 1. So the 1 goes through the 0, and that's the seat of creation. That's why 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. It's got a 1 and a 0. It's a wheel that turns the energies and life force of creation, and it's also related to the no thing. Because everything comes from the no thing. Isn't that funny? Everything comes from nothing. This is all like super cosmic, interdimensional, multidimensional stuff. I mean, I bet if you got down to it and you counted each and every star on the star's background, that would mean something. He has a short sleeve shirt that's black underneath his breastplate. So he still has some ignorance. He doesn't have the knowledge of everything yet, but he's almost there. And underneath that, though, he's got a puffy shirt. Again, not like Seinfeld, but okay, exactly like Seinfeld. And that is knowledge. Now look at these symbols, and I can't really make them out. I mean, I could see them, but I don't know what they mean. Above the white shield, there's a blue angel wings with a circle. The circle is orange. It means the sun. Somehow I think this is related to Icarus, and it's a warning of not flying too close to the sun, which, okay, that sounds insane, but it's a metaphor. When you get this card in a reading, it means don't use your wings to fly too close to the sun, Icarus. No, it doesn't mean that. But in a way, it is related to that, because you have to be careful where you drive your chariot. You got to be careful where you bring your vehicle, your body. It might be a symbol for your body. But the chariot is, when you get it in reading, a lot of times it means that you have just traveled, you want to travel, or you're about to travel in the future. Or you're thinking about past travels. It has something to do with travel, usually, in a generalized, daily reading. But it could also mean deeper meanings of the chariot is that you are ready, willing, and able to direct your own path, forge your own path. And you have everything at your disposal with which to do it. You have achieved greatness in your life. You have been a part of creation and nature. You have accepted wisdom in your life. And you know that you're clothed by a blanket of stars because the universe is supporting you. So that's a Chariot. That's a Chariot card. So I don't know. I hope that this has given you insights, further, deeper, esoteric insights into the meanings of the cards. I mean, if you just look at the Chariot and go, oh, you're going to go on a trip. Woohoo! There's a lot more to it than that. It's not just that. It is that in a reading, but it's also more. It could be symbolic for the places you're going in your career, how you're directing your own path. You're forging your own way. You don't need to be rescued. You don't need to rescue anybody else. The Chariot is only big enough for one person. It's being sovereign. You are a sovereign emperor in your own right, or empress. Doesn't matter. It's kind of a genderless person, to be honest. It's a man, but he has long hair like a woman, and I think it's meant to symbolize that this could be anybody. His gender is not what is the important takeaway from this. It's just a sovereign being in his own right. Okay, yeah, here I blew up the card a bit. His scepter is an orange scepter. It's got the golden light energy of God and of the heavenly realm, but also it's a color that's mixed in with the red of Mars. So it's an orange. Now at the end of the scepter, it looks a little confusing until you realize it is a infinity symbol. He knows that forever he guides his own path. But what's wrapped around the infinity symbol is a moon. Because sometimes it's all subconscious. Our subconscious mind can rule us unless we are consciously aware of it. So with the Chariot, you have to be aware of where you're going. And that might be a good part of the reading. Like, not only, you might be taking a trip, but it could be you are in charge of where you're going, and you have to always keep your wits about you and remain sovereign as a free, independent, sovereign individual, connected to your higher self, cloaked in the season of stars. That's also related to the High Priestess, those colors. You'll find in the Chariot all the colors of all the other cards as well that we've mentioned up until this point. Anyway, that's my take on these things based on what I've learned from Builders of the Addendum many years ago. Once you learn this stuff, I don't know, it's like there's a lot of stuff in my life I've forgotten, but I look at these cards and it brings it all right back. Like, you know what? These cards are very special. They have changed me in wonderful ways. I suggest if you're interested, check it out. This is a very beautiful, extremely beautiful deck of cards. Anyway, guys, that's all I gotta say about that tonight. I hope that you are getting through the past sorrows and melancholia, that you are able to shake it up like a sifter. You're kind of you're guiding your own path like you're in the Chariot, completely in touch with who you are. It's almost like the throne from which the Emperor sits in card 4 is in card 7 turned into a chariot And he's now able to direct that wisdom. He's taking the light of God, the knowledge and wisdom. He's knowledge and understanding creates wisdom. And he's taking that with him. Or maybe it's knowledge and wisdom creates understanding. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got to say about that for right now. Next week, we're going to start with card 8, which is Strength. And I love this card so much. Keyword for that card, Beastmaster. All right. Well, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being my subscriber. Thank you for being my listener. For my listener supporters, thank you so much for your support. I just feel so encouraged by that. This is literally the only job I do is having this podcast. So, and now the CBD oil, but I'm just, letting you guys know about it in case you want to buy it because it's a high quality. I'm not really working the business, to be honest. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but that's not my passion as much as this. This podcast is my roses. It's my desire. And my higher guidance told me I had to do this. On January 3rd, I was kind of bored. I'm all, what'd I do today? And he's like, start a podcast. I'm all, what? He says, make it a daily. Oh my God, I don't even get weekends off. Make it a daily. All right. Yes, God. So I did it, and here I am, and I've been consistently making one podcast every day since January 3rd, 2019. There you go. This is from my old radio. I mean, it all started with my old radio show in 2012 is when I started it, and I started recording it in 2013. I started taking the radio courses, through Raven Blair Glover. She made us take a course. My son and I took the course. She gave him the course for free because he was interested. But man, this is my passion though. I don't get tired every day. Even if I feel tired, I start doing the show and I get energized. That's how I know it's my passion. It's a desire God put in my heart because I work as a channel for the one will. I gave up my own ego in order to do this. But that's what light warriors do, baby. Oh, and then when we're Heyoka, we just laugh about it the whole time. It's this one big cosmic joke anyway. It's what it feels like. All right, guys. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that. I love each and every one of you, like I just said, and I don't know. I'm glad we're all on this journey together. We're all in this chariot together, you know what I mean? We are, we're just on the verge of something so big. I know we don't even know. We can't even begin to comprehend where we're going, what's going to happen, and we're all guessing and speculating and hoping and wishing and trying to extrapolate from various bits and pieces of information that we get from the cosmos and beings that we can't even see with our eyes. We all sound like we're a bunch of loons right now, but like I said, we're all going to be crazy up until the day something happens. Then the next day, we're going to look like the brilliant ones. So weird. All this stuff is so weird. All right. Oh, I'm getting sleepy. So now it's time to go. Remember when I talked about body signals the other day? Your cells they have a little convention inside each cell, and all the proteins get together and they go, I think it's time to yawn now. There's a signal that we have to go to bed. Oh, it's so weird. Your cells are alive. You are alive. And now you're reaching the high vibes, which is so cool. I hope you guys can feel it. I hope that you're always reaching and striving for it. And if you can't see the higher stuff, remember, touch your forehead and say, Ki-a-sa. Ki-ara. Damn it. Is it Ki-asa? Oh, now I'm screwing that up. Never mind. I've got to go back and look at that. I will tell you. Kiasha. Yeah. Kirasha. Kiasha. It's Kiasha. Yeah, so Kiasha. That's it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, my third eye is like pulsating like crazy. I feel like some days it's going to sprout an actual eye. That's going to be weird. And that's the day I'll buy a baseball hat and wear it forever. Maybe this is why you see the the women that read the fortunes and they always have their heads covered. Maybe they actually have an eye there. They have to cover it with a scarf. Just kidding. All right. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got to say about any of all that. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, peace. Chances are you've heard of CBD oil, but maybe you're a little afraid it might make you a little high or super drowsy. Possibly you're not going to pass mandatory drug testing at work. Am I right? Well, I found an amazing company. I'm including the link in this episode's description. Okay. This is derived from only the hemp plant. It does not contain THC, which is the factor in marijuana that makes you high. This CBD oil has been known to reverse aging, help you through weight loss issues. You will literally lose weight on our products if you want. Also reverses hair loss. It also helps you with things like insomnia, anxiety, pain in your muscles and joints, and it gives you benefits throughout your body with its high quality antioxidants. We even have a vape. Would you like to try the blueberry cheesecake? I know I would. I mean, there's so much danger with vaping these days, but not when it is only CBD oil. That's right. You could vape not only anytime you want, because it's not going to make you high, but it's also going to be healthy for you. How's that? Pretty cool, right? Well, go ahead and look in my episode description for my link. And, well, start using your CBD oil today. If you're interested in the business end of it, it's absolutely free to join. It's absolutely free every month, actually. I have never seen a business like this in all my life. So you can start, well, using your CBD oil, and you can start a brand new side hustle for yourself. Hey, as in, hey, Yoga Shaman approves of this message. I love you guys, and well, here's to your health. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.